All right, so hello, good evening, everyone. Happy Black History Month, and welcome to my How to Become a Hotel Owner in 2024 with Wyndham Hotels. So just going to have what makes a hotel successful, talk a little about my story, different pathways, and then we're going to pass the baton over to Galen, and Galen Barrett, he's with Wyndham Hotels, and he's going to talk more about the BOLD program. So I'm Devon Reese, for those who don't know, the hotel queen. That's what folks call me because I just love Beyonce. It's really the hotel diva because I love Beyonce. My experience, I've been in the industry for over 15 years. I started off as a front desk agent. So I have hotel operations, asset management, feasibility studies, and development, author of How to Buy a Hotel. Throughout my career, I've managed $1 billion worth of assets, all hotels. Currently, I have $30 million in assets in my portfolio. I feel like I've been featured in everything with the exception of Essence. The awards that I received, just to name a few: Georgia State University 40 Under 40, the International Society of Hospitality Consultants Emerging Leader, and then the top 100 influential hospitality leaders. Not bragging, just to let you know that you're in great hands when it comes to hotels. All right, so y'all know I like to do. I actually got 2 quizzes today, so I'm gonna do some quizzes. Okay, y'all know how I do. So there are over 59,000 hotels in the United States. The first person who gets it right will get my How to Become a Hotel Investor workbook for free. Okay. All right. So there are 59,000 hotels in the United States. What's the percentage that's owned by Black people? Let me see. I gave the answer if y'all was paying attention. Okay, let's see who got it right. Wait, y'all going so fast. Mighty Quinn. Did you win last time? Oh, Amina's here. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey. Let's see. Mighty Quinn, did you win last time? Oh, you didn't win last time. Okay. Well, Mighty Quinn, she wasn't playing. She was the first one. So she wins. Send me your email, and so I'll get someone from my team. Hold on a second. We're going to get you the copy of the book, okay? Well, workbook. Okay, just send a message to that and we'll get you a copy. All right. Then I got another one for those who know. This is a big one. I've never done this before. So if y'all, this I know you really be following me, you really be paying attention. So this woman played a very significant role in my life. And I talk about her all the time. And her birthday is tomorrow. If you know who this person is, you're going to get a free one-on-one spot, a free one-on-one call with me. So if y'all know who the first person who get it right, I'm going to give y'all a free one-on-one. So if y'all really know who it is, let me see if y'all really be paying. Rebecca, you don't get one, so you don't count. Tonya Robertson. Tonya, okay, send me a note. So the answer is my grandma. So that means y'all really be paying attention to me. The answer is my grandma. Her birthday is tomorrow. She would have been, if she was still here today, she would have been 97 years old. So if y'all really be paying attention to me, y'all know how much I love my grandma. All right, let me send you. All right, send a note to this email, and then we'll get your call scheduled, okay? Get a free one-on-one call with me for a whole hour. Okay. So that's in honor of my late grandma. So happy early birthday to her. All right. All right. So tonight we're going to bust some myths. You personally have to have millions of dollars to own a hotel. You personally have to be a billionaire, and you have to have prior hotel ownership and hotel experience. That is not the case. So Galen and I, we're going to be busting those myths tonight. So some for the folks who are new to hotel investing, how many of y'all, this is y'all first time ever on the webinar with me at all? Like, this is your first time? Put 1. Welcome. Hey. Oh, Galen, we about to turn some folks into hotel owners and investors. Okay. So if this is not your first time with me, put fam in the chat. So if you've been on more than one webinar with me, put fam in the chat. Hey, y'all. Hey. Thank y'all for coming back. So some organizations, for those who don't know, to really get involved. So NABPOD stands for the National Association of Black Hotel Owners, Operators, and Developers. That's an organization. Their goal is to increase the percentage of Black hotel owners. AHOA is the Asian American Hotel Owners Association. It's one of the larger hotel owners association. The Latina Hotel Association, their goal is to increase the percentage of Latina hotel owners, and then American Hotel Lodging Association. That's one of the oldest, I think it's the oldest hotel organization, and they're more of an advocacy group for the hotel industry. So those are some, if you're looking for organizations to join or just more information, I recommend to start off with those four. Really, NABPOD and AHOA. All right, so what makes a hotel successful? So you had a location, the brand, and the operator. So the location is crucial because, of course, a hotel is real estate. So location is absolutely important. There are over 100 different brands, but the only brand we talk about tonight, I know y'all see some other brands, but the only brand we're going to be talking about tonight is Wyndham, all right? So don't even ask about the other ones because we're just going to talk about Wyndham, all right? Right now, it's just Wyndham. That's the only hotel brand tonight. And the brand, so it's three things again that make successful: location, a brand, and operator. And then the operator is essentially who operates the hotel on a day-to-day basis. It can be an owner-operator. You can bring in a management company. How many people have ever stayed in a hotel and it was the worst experience ever? They couldn't even pay you. They couldn't give you enough points. You're not coming back to that hotel ever again in life. Right, exactly. Everybody has one of those. So that's an operator issue, okay? Now, think about your most memorable, enjoyable experience ever in life at a hotel, right? Everybody has that where they're like, oh my gosh, I will come back and refer. I've been going to this hotel for years, right? This is my go-to. So again, that's an operator. So that's why it's so crucial to have the right operator, because they're going to make sure your stay is amazing. And as an owner, they're going to make sure to help you make some money. All right. So that's why it's so crucial to have the right operator that can literally make or break your hotel. All right. So high level acquisition process. So we have investment criteria. That's more of like the what, when, where, how, who to get you started. Assemble the right team. Finding the hotel, submitting the offer, due diligence. We're not going to talk about the acquisition process on this call. That's another webinar. You take my course, read the book. This is just more so to give you information about the BOLD program, which Galen talked more about in a few. And those are my hotels. But these are some ways to those are my three hotels. But again, we talking about Wyndham tonight, and I know they're gonna give me a hard time because I don't have a Wyndham in my portfolio yet. So here's some ways that you can invest: lines of credit, savings, retirement, life insurance, equity, crowdfunding, or just high level ways that you can invest. The types of hotels: so economy, limited service, select service, extended stay, full service, and luxury. So economy hotels I recommend for first-time hotel owners or investors. They're hotels like a Days Inn or a Microtel would be great examples of economy service. Then you have like economy, basically you just get in bed and shower. Like you got to go down and get your towels. It's really very, very minimal amenities or really none. But it's good for an owner because you're not, it's more profit coming to you. Limited service, that's, very limited service, meaning, you may get like continental breakfast or I know it's not a Wyndham brand, but Hampton, I know a lot of people know about Hampton. So Hampton will be considered limited service. Select service, extended stay, that has like the kitchenette in it. You're staying in it for, 5 to 7 days or a month or more. Full service will be like a Wyndham, or a Hyatt or a Marriott. A luxury hotel will be like a Ritz-Carlton or Four Seasons. So just to kind of give you an idea. But for first-time hotel owners and investors, I recommend that you stay in that economy, limited service, select service, extended stay space. For one, it's more economical for you to get in. You'll probably have more of a better chance of getting approved from a loan, net worth requirements. And it's just, the goal is to get you a hotel, right? That's the goal. If anybody's ever invested in real estate, your first investment property, it probably wasn't the sexiest thing ever. Same thing with the hotel. So I don't want y'all to go in, and a lot of people, they want their first hotel to be, their favorite hotel that they stayed at. You probably can't. Let's just be realistic. You probably won't be able to afford it. Okay. So you want to look at hotels that you can get approved, that you can really understand the hotel business. So starting off with a hotel like a Days Inn or Microtel will be really good for your portfolio and for you to scale and to become a profitable hotel owner. That's my goal, is to turn you all into profitable, into successful hotel owners. Okay. All right. So you definitely want to set a vision, set a budget and deadline, and determine your pathway. There are 4 different pathways. We're not going to talk about it tonight. But passive and active, meaning you can, invest in REITs or crowdfunding or invest in stocks. But tonight we're just going to be talking more about the acquisition process of actually learning more about the brand. So you definitely want to look at just high level, and I'm going to pass it over to Galen. You want to create your investment thesis. So what kind of hotel do you want to buy? When do you plan to invest? Where do you plan to invest? Why are you investing? I really want these questions answered before you all reach out to Wyndham. All right. That'll make the conversation a lot better on both sides if you have a lot of these questions answered. Even if you have a lot of these questions answered before you even start talking to a hotel broker, right? Because those are places where you want to go to find a hotel. So what kind of hotel are you looking for? Are you looking for economy, limited service, select service? When do you plan to invest? Meaning, when do you plan to buy? Are you looking to do it a year from now, 24 months from now? Where do you plan to do it? Do you plan to do it 2 to 4 hours away from you? Do you plan to do it internationally? Why are you investing? Because this will help you determine what kind of hotel you want. And then how are you going to invest? That's like the crucial, right? Because you need money to do it. Hotels are very capital intensive. So how are you going to bring a group of your friends and family together? Are you going to use crowdfunding to raise capital? Like, who's going to guarantee the loan? Those are questions that you want to have answered already before you start talking to representatives from Wyndham, or even talking to a hotel broker or a lender, because it'll make both parties' life easier, and they'll give you a call back. Okay. I get a lot of questions. They're like, Devon, they're not calling back. And I'm like, well, do you know when you want to buy? And they're like, no. Do you know what kind of hotel you want? And they're like, no. Do you have the money to do it? No. I mean, everybody's goal is to get to the closing table. So that's what you have to keep in mind. Everybody wants to get to they won't say everybody's nice. I'm not that nice. I'm gonna be really straightforward. The goal, everybody want to get to the closing table. So if they feel as though that if they don't feel that they're confident, or you're confident enough to get to the closing table, it'll be less likely for you to get a call back. So my job is to help you all get more confident, be more prepared, be able to understand, analyze the deals, and get you all ready, so that way you can get callbacks and get to the closing table. All right, I want to talk about that. All right, so let's talk about BOLD. BOLD stands for the Black Owners Lodging Developers. It's an initiative by Wyndham. Their goal is to increase the percentage of Black hotel owners. I was very proud to be a part of the focus group to help bring this together. That's actually where I met Galen in person. Galen Barrett, he's the Vice President of Strategic Franchise Initiatives. He's over the BOLD program. So I'm going to pass the baton over to him so he can share his screen.
Yep. I'm not even going to share my screen, Devon. First, Devon.
Okay.
Devon has stolen my thunder. She's given, Devon knows more about hotels, hotel investing, hotel operations than I could ever dream to know. I'm trying to catch up with her, and so you guys are just getting a taste of it. Clearly, those of you who already know this is a fact, but there is more to learn in staying in connection with Devon. But just by way of background, And a couple of things that I can add on to what Devon has already shared. So me first, I've had a background in finance. I started my career in investment banking. And then when I came to Wyndham, my path as a finance professional kind of took me in as a planner, capital allocation for Wyndham. So finding ways to strike strategic projects and craft partnerships with our franchisees, right? Our hotel franchisees, our whole system is franchise oriented. We don't own any of our hotels. We have successful entrepreneur partners that we look to support. And so, for 5 years, coming from a planning position, then to a capital allocation position, I was looking to find ways to invest with franchisees. And so when 2 years ago, we started to look for ways to find entrepreneurs who we didn't necessarily seek in the past or were underserved with respect to our industry. We knew that we wanted to make a difference, and that was where, and I'll just say my role in strategic franchise initiatives is to help coordinate two of our programs. We've got both Women Own the Room and the Bold program, as Devon mentioned, to support women and Black entrepreneurs. And so we put that together. I had already been in conversation with how do we get in conversation with folks who may not be aware of the details of our industry, all of the terms Devon put out there, but we knew we could make a difference. We knew we wanted to make a difference. And so that was the origin of what those two programs were. And so when we decided with enough momentum, we had a significant amount of interest and activity, the organization said we need somebody to help coordinate all of that activity. I was excited to take that role, and so I've got my eye on the chat here. So is Bold only for development? But one thing that
is it me? I think it's me. I think it's me.
One thing that Devon said was one thing I think the ultimate goal that we are hoping to achieve is an improvement of that 2% number, right? That the number of, there's 14 folks here in the United States, we make up as Black citizens, we're 14%. As women, right, obviously half of the country, but the numbers are well under that in terms of hotel ownership. So below 20% for women entrepreneurs and 2% for Black entrepreneurs. And so there is opportunity, and we know that with respect to these two communities, to find in these different markets ways to develop hotels in a meaningful way. And so that is what we are really focused on. I think the success in driving those numbers up will come from our efforts to support and help to create pathways for entrepreneurs like yourselves who are showing up today to really learn more about what we're up to. And so what Bold then and Women on the Room are specifically, I think that at their core are platforms for us to be in conversation with you as frequently and in the ways that are most helpful for you along your pathway to hotel ownership. And that can mean a lot of different things. That could vary by the market. It could vary by the community and the different projects and developers that are coming to us, and the kinds of early careerists that are looking like yourself at opportunities within your community, within your career, to strike up a pathway to ultimately hotel ownership. And so one thing I wanted to say is, Devon said, there's a lot of questions out there, right? At the beginning, is it the beginning or the end of the day? Right, what a hotel represents, right? It is a real estate development at its core, as Devon said. It's a business, right? Ultimately, the business that you are in is providing a place for people to come, and they are either coming because your hotel is a destination, it's a resort, it's like Disney, or you're going to the beach, you're at one of our Wyndham resorts on the beach, or if you're on Disney's campus, you're at our Bonnet Creek, beautiful Wyndham Grand there on the campus of Disney. But the reason you're there is because that hotel is the place where you want to be and you want to spend your time with your family. Or you are you're an infrastructure worker. You are as a customer, you are a contractor working on the highway, and you've got a contract to develop and to build out and grow our nation's infrastructure in the ways that a lot of Congress has signed into force, and that money is going to start to flow. And so maybe your hotel, as opposed to a destination, it's purely a bed, right, for those contractors, those construction workers who are going to be going from where they live to their job site and spending multiple days at a time building out that infrastructure project and contract that they won. The point of what I'm saying is, what matters is that as an entrepreneur, very well who that customer is and what kind of project that they're looking to do. What we want to do with our Bold and Women Own the Room program is to have these kinds of conversations in this forum, in this setting, so that you are aware of what hotels are and what they can potentially be in terms of an opportunity for you to grow as an entrepreneur. And then for you to further that conversation, whether it's with me, I, on a weekly, monthly basis, have conversations really, literally one-on-one. If you get in contact, my colleague here, Corey Bucavello, dropped in the chat an ability to connect with our developers. If you click that link, that will put you into contact with our development team. And then you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn page. I probably should have brought that in as well, to link directly with me. And like I said, I have one-on-one conversations to have the kind of development first steps, next steps to get people on the road. Because, ultimately we can't do it for you, but we have the expertise and experience in the industry to help you understand what are the right first steps, what are the next steps to get you on that path. So Bold and Women Own the Room are fundamentally platforms for us to hold those conversations and connect with you on that basis. So Devon, I don't know if I know you said you didn't want to get necessarily into the details of first steps, next steps, but maybe that's a question I have for you. What was your first step in getting into hotels? Because that's, in a way, that is what Bold and Women Own the Room are platforms for people to take that first step. What was the first thing you did? How did you, if it wasn't a conversation with a brand, I'm going to put that out there, Devon. We are happy to have people come in conversation with our developers. We call them developers. They are broadly dispersed around the country, whether it's by brand, by region. We've got people who are interested. Obviously, to Devon's point, they want to close a deal, but we're in development. We're in real estate development, and so we know that some of these deals take some time. So they will. They've got time to make time for you and to have those conversations. So Devon, sorry, the question is you. How did you get started? What was the first thing you did?
Oh God. Well, my journey was a front desk agent. So I had a lot of knowledge, and then working in consulting and asset management that helped me build relationships with the brands and understand the process. Because when I started off as an intern, my job was or an analyst, my job was to reach out to the different brands on behalf of the clients to see if it made sense for their site. So I was a development consulting analyst. And so I would have to reach out to the brands or to the developers that you just mentioned to be like, hey, client has some site. Has some land. We think that it should be this particular, we realize that this brand may work for this. And then I also did feasibility studies as well. So that helped me understand the development process a lot. So by the time I got fast forward to 2020, by the time I was like, okay, it's really time to do it and be serious. And, I helped so many other people close on deals. So I said, okay, now it's time to do something for myself. So our first deal was a Hilton property in El Reno, Oklahoma. We came across that deal from a hotel broker. We raised the capital through it's called friends and family round. Basically, you raise the capital from people that or you built some type of relationship with. And that's how we assumed the loan. So that was a little different. That was it was an easier closing. So I say we were very fortunate. Not all process of getting a hotel closed is sometimes can't be the easiest. Just like if you were buying a house, I'm sure for the folks on here who purchased a house or real estate investment property, the closing or the due diligence was extremely stressful. And just things just came out of nowhere. But some of the different strategies for folks to get started to own would be, investing passively. I see one of my first investors giving Amina a shout out. She's actually a member of Bold. Look, she plugged her deal for folks who want to invest.
We are. I say we are working with Amina. That project is very exciting. I know you put it in the chat, Amina. We are excited about that one, hoping to find some solutions there. So no, 100%. Yep.
We get to the closing table. That deal getting to the closing table. That's what Amina does. So it's getting to the closing table. It's gonna happen. And I know that you all have been very supportive of her and her project. So definitely, I can't wait to see that being a success story of Bold. But I'm so proud of Amina and her journey, because she didn't come from a hotel. A lot of people on this call, I'm sure y'all didn't work for a hotel. Let me know in the chat if you worked in a hotel or not. And there's a lot of people who are owners, they never worked in a hotel. And so don't feel like, okay, I never worked in a hotel, I can't own. And Amina is a great success story. I know you asked about me, but Amina's here. Her story, I love her story, because she was one of my first investors. And so, it wouldn't be a history making, El Reno deal without Amina, because she was, one of the first investors. And so her pathway to hotel ownership is that she started off as a passive investor, meaning she was a limited partner. She, didn't sign on the loan or anything. And then she invested in another property. And then now her and her husband, they sponsored their first hotel, several years later. Now they're on their second hotel. So the process works, and there's so many different ways that you can do it and you can get started. And I'm grateful for Bold, because having initiatives like Bold, where it'll help people, because the biggest thing that people say, oh, capital, the lack of capital is why, there are not a lot of Black hotel owners. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think when you get further into I can't speak from like 20, 30 years ago, because I wasn't there, and I know it was a lot harder because so many people opened the doors for us. But I think right now I meet so many people of color with the capital. What I see is the lack of knowledge. So, and Bold, you're providing programs, so it's like, okay, well, we have these different incentives and initiatives to help you with that knowledge part, to help you with that revenue management, to help you with that sales and marketing. Giving you that support that's needed for a first-time hotel owner. If you've never owned a hotel or never worked in a hotel, you're not going to understand revenue management. You're not going to understand sales and marketing. You're not going to understand what it's like to be a general manager. You're not going to understand, reading the P&L or really understanding. So having that support, and then not only that, a lot of people want to start their own brand. I hear that all the time, but it's very hard to get financing for your own brand. Okay. So having that support with an international brand such as Wyndham, it makes it a lot easier for you to get financing,
Yep.
So,
yep.
Oh, wait. Okay. I'm just reading. Oh, yeah. So we got some folks that's saying worked it. Oh, yeah. Quentin worked in a hotel, have no hotel experience. Ritz-Carlton. Yeah. So we have some folks on here that's never worked in a hotel, but it's an opportunity for them to do it. And then, look at Corey. Go ahead, Corey. She put your contact information in the chat, Galen.
Corey's on top, 100%. Look, Corey has my back even when I'm failing myself. Corey is always 100% there. So thank you. Yeah. So let me add to that. One of the things is, there's two pretty significant ways. I think people can think about this all different ways and in different kind of components, how to classify, but you've got two big things. And there was a question in the chat about, are our programs, Bold and Women on the Room, just for development? Just to unpack that a little bit, there are two significant phases of a hotel. There's the significant phase of standing up a hotel, right? This real estate box that is now, kitted out and it's permitted and the construction, which is, you know, a significant undertaking. It's like a house, but much more kind of a thing, right? For all of us who have been through the house purchase and the house construction or renovation experience, it's that plus a lot more. So there's a significant before the doors are open experience, and then a lot of, to Devon's point, there's a post open. There is the management, there's the staffing, there's the maintenance, there's the business of the hotel, right? Understanding what are your revenue, where are your customers coming from, what's the price of the product that you should be charging, right? What are your room rates and how does that compare to your competitors? So there's the business and the maintenance and the operational element after you're open. And I think the question here is bold on Women in the Room just for development. I think maybe if I can define that is there are different ways that first phase can work, right? Pre-opening. You could take, right, a plot of land with a vision as to why people would ultimately want to stay at a new hotel there and you would want to build a new hotel. And I think a lot of people call that development, right? New construction, new development hotel. Maybe it's because all the hotels that are in the area are sold out, right? It's a high demand area and there's just been so many more people coming to that area that it's just due for a new hotel, more supply, you might say, more rooms in the area. And so a new hotel could make sense. So bold definitely, and Women in the Room cover new construction. But it could be that there is a Holiday Inn, say, that is in the market, and maybe it is a Holiday Inn that was built 20 years ago. It's due for a refresh. And you know, you've got an idea as an entrepreneur that you want to buy that Holiday Inn and rebrand it as a La Quinta, say, or you want to rebrand it as a Microtel. You'd like to reconsider how that hotel is positioned from a branding perspective and what kind of customers that would attract, different from the ones that they previously did. And so all of those questions around how to bring to bear a hotel into a marketplace, whether it's a new build or a renovated, or quite frankly, maybe it's an existing hotel where it just needs some TLC. Maybe it's an existing La Quinta, a previous generation La Quinta that doesn't need to be rebranded. It's just the owners have owned it for 15 years. It just needs a refreshed look at La Quinta. It needs the, as we like to say, there's the package call, we call it the LQ Up package, or the LQ Up Del Sol renovation package that takes an old La Quinta and makes it look very much like a new La Quinta, right? The bones of that real estate asset are solid, but that La Quinta, you know, and the existing owner has had a great career, right? The value of that property is has appreciated over time, and they're looking to retire, and that's an opportunity for a new entrepreneur to come in, buy, give some TLC, renovate, and continue running that as a La Quinta or a Microtel or a Howard Johnson or Ramada. We've got 24 brands. I'm not going to go through all of them, but to continue to operate that asset in the same market that it is. So to the question, are our programs only for development? Our programs are for anyone, a Black entrepreneur, a women entrepreneur. You know, our company is founded on supporting, as we think about being customer first, any entrepreneur with a hotel dream, but our programs are specifically enhanced for Black women entrepreneurs in any way that they are hoping to get into our industry, whether it's a new build, a conversion, or an existing La Quinta. So I think the point here is we are excited for you to come in conversation with us, whatever type of approach that you're looking to make. Devon mentioned then two things. So after you've gotten through your development question, however you've decided to get that hotel up and running and open, one thing that you should know about a brand is that we are very much the customer-focused arm from a broad perspective. And so, as I mentioned, we've got the 24 brands. These are brands that customers know, they trust, and they can expect a certain amount of consistency. And so the thing that you get from a brand is you get a global or a national marketing campaign that makes it so that people know when they're driving down the street or when they're looking to book on their apps or when they're going to our webpage to book, that this is a trusted source that they can have confidence in when they are going to visit now your project, your business, right? You are part of a system that is a reliable system. And so we have tools that help to target those folks. We have a big marketing campaign that makes that possible. But then specific to your hotel, we have two pretty big tools around how then to manage and drive revenue. And this really gets into, right, the business of hotels. How do you price that room? This is, I think what most people think about when they think about revenue management, at least the business school case study, is how do you price an airline seat, right? An airline seat 3 months from now may have one price, but that same airline seat 5 minutes before takeoff has a much different price. And that algorithm that have been developed to understand how those prices, not only with respect to time, but also with respect to competition, revenue management is a lot of science that has gone into that. And we've got a tool that we support our franchisees with, revenue management tool. And we want to make sure that folks in this program have that. And so we give that complimentary as part of the program. That's one of the benefits for being in the program. And the other thing Devon mentioned is, from a business perspective, you've already had a sense for who your customer is going to be, right? Who are the folks who are going to be showing up, ideally, because you've had that feasibility study when you first started down your path towards hotel ownership. But when you're up and running, it's no longer theoretical. It's actually blocking and tackling and selling to those customers, right? That infrastructure, that contractor, or that vacationer has to be engaged with the opportunity of staying at your hotel. And so what that means is, right, sales and marketing, having somebody who's local, a local person who knows the dynamics, knows who are the real estate, or not the real estate, the travel agents who are booking travel into your market. Having that expertise, that's another thing that we have. It's another service, right? We are very focused on driving success from a top line. And so driving revenue from a tool perspective with revenue management and driving it from a seller is another thing that we offer as a service. And again, we give that complimentary as part of being in the Bold and the Women on the Room program. So listen, it's one of those, wait, there's more, but those are two big features. That's one of the two big features of being in the program, in terms of the things that we have expertise in. But what I think is maybe on top of the things that we already do well, which is help people be successful with their hotel businesses. One thing that I think we're building is we are helping to engage and support and grow a community of developers, right?
Right. Yeah.
A lot of what this means is, Devon said, you can do this if you've got millions of dollars, but if you don't have millions of dollars, then you need a team of people who can either help fundraise or who have different expertises to fill in the gaps where you may be missing. And that ultimately speaks to community. And in a way, what we are hoping to accomplish and achieve is to really just be part of the community that already exists and establish that same community in conversation with us so that we have ready access. We are building that community within our four walls at Wyndham, so that as those projects start to take shape, as those dreams start to become things that you are hoping to pursue in projects, that we are part of that conversation and part of that journey. And so that community aspect, I think, is really huge for what we are trying to accomplish. And it's in a lot of ways what we heard from Devon and some of the other entrepreneurs that we talked to about ways to break down barriers and find solutions for Black and women entrepreneurs in our industry.
No, thank you for that. We have some questions there. It says, can we purchase an existing franchise property? If so, what's the contact? Okay, so some websites that you all can go to is you can go to loopnet.com, or you can find Omari Head on he's on Instagram. He's our broker. And then Rebecca, she's actually here. She's a hotel broker. So Rebecca, I'm surprised you haven't plugged your information yet. So Rebecca, put your information in the chat. She's a hotel broker. She can actually help you find existing properties that if you're looking to acquire. So we got another question that says, what are some advantages to investing in hotels versus investing in residential investment properties? So investing in hotels, what makes it different than investing in, that's a good question. So hotels, they're considered commercial real estate. So the benefits, the tax benefits, so the depreciation, of course, be higher. And in hotels, not only are you investing in not only do you own the real estate, but you own the business as well. So from a tax perspective, you're able to take advantage of the cost segregation, which you wouldn't be able to do with the residential property, even if it was an Airbnb, because you're just owning the real estate. You're not necessarily owning that particular, you're getting additional income, but you can't really sell it separately, kind of, right? And then with hotels, like let's say if you do residential investing and you do short-term rental or Airbnb, is one unit. And depending on where you are, you probably only can do maybe 1 or 2 units. As a hotel, you can think about 50 Airbnb units in one building, right? And then you can have a management company that can manage it. You're a part of a franchise if you do decide to work with a franchise, so they have their systems in place. If you do residential, you're the one that's doing the marketing. If you need to get people in your space, depending on how many units, you may have to bring in a management company. But with the hotel, if you have a support like Wyndham, you're using their marketing arm to help get folks into your hotel. Of course, you pay them a fee or in a franchise fee, but that helps you get people into your hotel. So that helps, of course. And then one of my favorite things is hotel discounts. If you own a residential, you really can't get a hotel discount unless you either work for a hotel or you own it. That's probably the only way you can get it. So that's my thing. It says, how much creative freedom do you have in terms of the design of the hotel if you were to do a new build or conversion renovation? That sounds like a Galen question.
Yep, I will say it depends on the brand. 24 brands, and the spectrum is there are some brands, I would say, let's just name La Quinta as one that has very well defined prototypical design elements. And so you'll have less flexibility from a design perspective on changing what that look is. Just the look and feel of a La Quinta is very set in stone, more or less, with some flex. But there's, on the other end of the spectrum, say a trademark, which is a soft brand. And while there are guidelines for what is sort of inbounds versus out of bounds, you have much more flexibility in engaging with that brand leader and the operations team to explain your vision and effectively, right, make sure that it's aligned. And with that alignment, you've got the flexibility to go. Clearly, it's a conversation still, but the parameters are less predefined with a trademark than it is a La Quinta. And then there are, those are just two examples. There are, I think, things that are sort of in between where there are brand parameters and elements, but flexibility as well. But just to give two examples of how that can look differently between brands.
Yeah, and what he was talking about with the trademark, kind of like a soft brand. So what do you mean about creative freedom? Of course, since you're buying into a franchise, Wyndham, they have their parameters, as Galen just mentioned, of what you can do. But if you want to like create, like the Melissa Hotel, then it would be probably like with the trademark, and then it won't be it still be some flexibility. It's still some design that you have to, that you still have to adhere to. But for my folks who want to develop their own brand, I always recommend soft brand. That way it'll be a lot easier for you to get financing. Take a couple more questions. It says, how much of your own personal money is needed for your first deal? So typically you'll need about 20 to 30% down on a hotel. Probably your own personal money, I would say at least 5 to 6 figures. It depends, because you have to pay the application fee, you have to pay the lawyers, you have to pay appraisals, that for any upfront costs that you'll probably need before the deal really get started, because you're gonna need lawyer to help you negotiate your PSA agreement, purchase sale agreement. That's after you submit the offer and it gets accepted. So it says, where do most people follow track and get in the deal to the closing table of their first deal? the capital, the equity, the financing part is probably the biggest issue. Not having the financing aligned, meaning not having the equity together, not having the not having the equity together, you're not able to get it was one of my students, she waited to the last minute to contact me. Her lending fell through like 2 days before closing. They decided they don't want to finance hotels anymore. So or you don't, I know, right? Or you don't raise enough of the equity, you don't raise enough capital. So so that's why I was saying get hotels that you can afford, because you have to put 20 to 30%. So I know your dream hotel may be 100 million, but do you have 20 million to put down, and can you get approved for the loan? So that's what I mean by being realistic. That's why I say start off, with economy and limited service hotels, because they may be easier for you to get loans, SBA 7A that does up to 5 million. So it may just be easier if you get a hotel, less than 5 million, because then it's maybe easier for you to raise that capital. So yeah. So I'm going to, do we have any more questions? Because I have something to share with y'all, and y'all stay with me to the end.
Can I say, I want to encourage folks to just think about fall off track. When you talk to folks who have been in our industry for 20, 30 years, or institutions who have been in longer, one thing you should try to think about is that falling off track. Another way to say it is, people look at a lot of deals before closing on the deal that they ultimately get to. And so, fall off track might just be, that's just another experience with the one that wasn't the right one, or another way of learning a lesson that you're going to use as you continue down your path, right, in your journey to ultimately the hotel that you're ultimately going to buy at the end of the day. Yeah, I don't want this to sound like relationship advice, but truly, hotel development it's complicated, and there's lots of different aspects, and it's one of the reasons why having good partners on your team, right, with the experience to kind of give you these roadmaps and kind of give you the encouragement to stay the course. I truly believe that the effort ultimately to get you to close the deal is the same whether or not the deal closes. And it's only a matter of kind of the stars aligning at the end of the day. There's a certain amount of luck that is going to have to be required, right? Preparation will take you so far, but there's a certain amount of luck that is going to get you to that close. And I think it's that prep element where, folks like Wyndham, folks like Devon can be instrumental in making sure that you are prepared for that moment where the stars align for your project. So, I say nothing's ever falling off track. It's just iteration number 2 on your path to ownership.
There you go. So I'll take these last couple of questions. It says, any advice on choosing a specific territory for the hotel? I always recommend on your first time to do something that's either 2-hour flight away or a 4-hour drive. You want something close to it. Because if something happens, you need to get out there, you want to check on your hotel. Amina, her first hotel was in Memphis, but they were able to get on a flight, but they have a really good general manager, right? So that's the crucial, is having that right team, that right operating model. So we got another question. How long do you have to raise the down payment? Typically, I'm not afraid of it. Just want to understand the reason, the timing, and how people don't close. So that's all a part of the due diligence phase. Typically, it can be 90 days to raise capital. So don't think just because people with money that they're going to invest, and a lot of people make that mistake. Like, your best friend could be Oprah, and then you tell her, I want to buy a hotel, and she may look at you like, well, I don't invest in hotels. So just because people have money, you have to understand what their investment criteria. Not everybody invests in hotels because they don't understand it. People typically don't invest in things that they don't understand. So raising capital, that's why I say get something that you could you know, that you can probably realistically do. So if you know you can only raise 500,000, then those the type of hotels that you need to be looking at, $2 to $3 million or less, because you can afford that down payment, meaning pulling from your life insurance or your, you know, business credit or, you know, retirement. So just, you know, you have to be realistic. It says, how challenging is staffing and retaining the staff for your hotel? It definitely could be challenging. I know, you know, finding the right good general manager, it's good. Finding the right management company, if you decide to bring one on, you know, creating that culture. The hotel business is a 24-hour business. I used to work in it. You can easily get burnt out. But what I will say is that people will work 24 hours for you if they have a good boss. If they don't like the culture, they will not. I've worked every shift I've done night audit and had to wake up an hour later and come back to work to check in more guests. So, and people will do that for people and companies that make them happy. Once you stop doing that and you don't appreciate them, they will leave. So, so it's really the challenging part. And that is some bad apples who don't want to work, but the good apples, the good people, and just like with any company, you definitely want to take care of them. So it can be hard. I worked for brands and management company for, oh, thank you, Mr. Thomas. Says, how do you become a limited partner for hotels? Oh yeah, Mina, go ahead, put that link in. So Mina, she's putting her deal in. She's raising. You could be a limited partner for her Wyndham deal in Lake Charles. Look at the link in the chat. It says, what is the recommended minimum amount of hotels rooms we should start with? I wouldn't necessarily probably 50. I wouldn't do any more than like 100 on your first hotel. Like I wouldn't do anything more than that. Like that's it on your first one. I really would do no more than 75. I think anything over that, it may be too much because you need to be able to understand it, the staffing, because the more staff you have, the less comes to your bottom line. And you really want to understand the hotel business. Like you really want that first year, you want to understand the financials, you want to understand the business model. So that's really, really important that you get that. It says, how do you determine the value of a hotel to ensure you're buying the right deal? Amina said it, financial modeling. So you analyze the hotel based evaluation, cap rates, the market. So that's how you determine the value of a hotel to ensure you're buying it at the right amount. You know, anybody who's selling real estate, they always think their value is more than what it really is. So that is a good question. I do have courses and information. Yeah, so the same as apartments. I have courses and information on how you can analyze a hotel, because it's different than analyzing a hotel than analyzing an apartment. So I know people, oh, I can do it because I've done multifamily, I've done all this. It is different. And I've seen a lot of people turn their hotels back to the bank because they know what they were doing, because they bought it too high and they didn't know how to operate it, and they brought in the wrong management company. So hotels is not just a business, it's both. It's business and real estate. So you have to really be able how to understand that, how to underwrite the business and not just the real estate. And what is the typical profit to expense ratios with hotels? I like microtels and hotels like Days Inn because the profit margins are a lot higher. You're looking at somewhere like 30 to 40%, because the biggest expense in a hotel is the labor. And so when you have full service hotels, it's more labor because you have to staff it. But with hotels like Days Inn and microtels and extended stay hotels, there's not that much labor. It's not that many amenities. So the profit margins and the profits coming to a owner, it's higher. So what time is it? So we're running.
Daryl, I'm coming back to you. That your point, so same as different than apartment. Like the model is different, but the analysis is the same. It's NOI, if that's a term. So it's cash flow, pre-tax, pre-debt service, to get into the detailed terminology. But it's how much cash flow after expenses is thrown off that drives value. So yeah, that's right. It's the same as apartments, right? Real estate is valued generally in the same way. It's just like the actual structure of the model. What are the categories are different, to Devon's point, and that can make a drastic difference, right, between a hotel business and an apartment investment. So
So thank you all so much for tuning in. Y'all stayed with us to the end. Thank you, Galen, representing Wyndham, and told us so much about the boat program. If you enjoyed it, put a fire in the chat, show Galen some love. Thank you, Corey, for putting in information about Bold. I'll put it in the email as well. You will get a copy of the recording. Here's my, and then I think Corey put Galen's contact information in there as well, so you can connect with him on LinkedIn. Definitely, you can stay connected. I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. You go to Vestor.com. We have a Facebook group called Vestor Academy. We're having an event in Atlanta. Wyndham is sponsoring an event. So meet some Wyndham folks in person. We're going to do a hotel tour. We're going to have a panel discussion. We're going to have food and drinks. It's only limited 35 seats. If anybody has been to my events, I keep it real limited. I mean, keep it real intimate. So that way, you know, you get a chance to network with folks. You get a chance to actually talk to people. Because, you know, sometimes when you go to these big meetings and large events, you don't get a chance to talk to anybody because it's so much going on. It's so many people, you know, especially like introverts, you know, introvert like me, you know, it's better when it's intimate people, right? So we're going to be in Atlanta. It is on, where is it? There we go. February 28th. I thought I had information. February 28th, at 6 to 9 p.m. When is that event? It's going to be February 28th. So still during Black History Month. Well, not the last day, because 29th is the last day, but the next to the last day. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Yay. So if you are in Atlanta, come and check us out. We're going to be touring it actually used to be the Sheraton, and now it's a Wyndham property. It's called the Cortland. It's actually off of Cortland. And so join us for drinks and appetizers. Let me see, I put the link in the chat. It's February 28th. I'll send the link in the email, the follow-up email. Use early boat to receive $50 off and for the early bird special. And like I said, I'll put the information in the follow-up email so that way you can have it, so that way you can that way you can register. Just use your QR code. There's only 35 seats, like I said, or 35 spots, not 35 seats, 35 spots. Like I said, I like to keep it intimate because I know y'all had so many questions, but that way it give you time to process it and just get some one-on-one time. I think we're gonna have a hotel broker there as well. Omari may come through. So just to get some chance to get some one-on-one time with us and with Wyndham to get more questions and more information about the BOLD program and more information on how you can really, you know, get to your hotel ownership goals of actually buying a hotel or investing in a hotel. So again, it is February 28th, 6 to 8 p.m. And again, thank you all so much. Thank you, Galen.
Thank you, Devon. This was great.
This was amazing. Y'all have fun. Thank you, Corey. Thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you all for the first time, my first time, folks. I hope you enjoy it. Hey, Sonia, I know this is not your first time. I hope that you enjoyed it. Hey, Angel. I hope that you all enjoyed it and learned a lot. Thank you again so much for tuning in. I hope that you learned something new. That is the goal. Every webinar, every session, every something. I just hope that you learned something new. So I appreciate you so much, and I hope to see you all at the end of the month in Atlanta. Bye, everyone. Bye, Galen. Thank you.
Bye, Devon. Bye, Devon. Have a good one. See y'all later.
Mommy. 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 Mommy.